I've got some really sad news to share with y'all. Welcome back to Bits of an Artist's Life. This is Sandi Hester, and in this week's video, I wanted to just tell you about my art staycation. Grady went on his yearly guys ski trip, and I just thought I'm going to take the whole week and just do a vacation, an art vacation, go out and paint every single day. I went out every day except 2 days. The very last day, because I needed to get the house back in order. And then on Saturday, I was really tired, and I think I stayed home that day. But for 7 days, every day I did paint. And I just wanted to take you through the week, show you what I did, give you little glimpses of where I went. I had a ton of fun and created a ton of art. So the week was really wonderful until it wasn't. I've got some really sad news to share with y'all. I wasn't even sure if I would be able to do this in this video, and I really wanted the staycation video to be really fun and to be able to have the oomph to share it with y'all in the manner that it was, but it ended really tragic. Grady is fine. Grady and I are doing great, but I do have some sad news to share with y'all at the end. But first, let's just enjoy this staycation, and I'll share it with you, and then we'll meet back here and I'll share with you how the week ended, which was really sad. Okay, let's start looking at all this work. I literally just filmed this entire thing and realized that I didn't film it in 4K, so I'm refilming. Yay! Maybe it'll help me tell the story better of the week. So, first day that Grady was gone, I went to Cheekwood Gardens. It's a local garden here. I have a year pass and I really love it. But they're having an orchid display or something like that show at the mansion that's on the property. So it was a very cold and windy day, and I thought it could be nice to just go and walk around the mansion and sketch the orchids. It's interesting because I literally only sketched one orchid. I was more interested in other things in the mansion. I wasn't sure how my allergies would do, but they did fine. And the very first sketch I did to kind of warm up, I was interested in a scene that was outside, which I thought was very interesting because I'm just so into landscape. It's that's what drew me. So I did this quick sketch of the trees outside. And then this is the one orchid sketch. And I was holding the sketchbook in my hand like this and basically doing a blind contour. But that was it. That was the only orchid. I think because they were they did these big bunches of them, and I don't know, just kind of a single orchid was more interesting. But something that did catch my eye, they had a bunch of glass cabinets filled with the most amazing pottery. I could have stood here and just sketched for quite a while. In fact, next time I go, I probably will spend some more time. But this pottery was really wonderful, and it was this kind of blue. So it was nice to pull out my blue marker. I used my Winsor & Newton watercolor marker. I just did a video on that, the last video I did on some new markers I got, and I just loved kind of capturing it in this. This vase was so cool because it was real fancy and ornate, but then the spout had this burly guy's head on it. He had a beard and kind of looked like a sailor or something. And it just was whimsical. It felt really fun. I thought, man, I'd love to have that piece of pottery in my house. So I stood there and did that. And then I went up to this area that's an art gallery. I guess it's probably all the art that was actually in the mansion when the people lived there. There was a lot of pottery that was cool. And then in the area where there was art, there was this one painting that I really just wanted to stand and sketch. There was a guard in there, and I wasn't real sure how he was going to feel about that, but he was fine with it. Then I decided to go outside. I had another guard that was following me the whole time and getting on to me about how I was holding my bag. They have so many rules at this place, and there were a lot of rules about how you hold your bag, and I was breaking all of them, so I decided to just go outside. And I went out on this balcony where I've sketched multiple times, and I just love it. What was nice about this day, it was cold and windy, so there was literally nobody there at the gardens. Usually up there on the balcony, there's whole classrooms of kids coming and everybody wanting to look to see what I'm doing, and it's kind of hard to just focus. So it was nice to just stand there and sketch. My stuff was like getting blown everywhere. But I love it because it's kind of like this pool. I don't know if it's a pool or a pond. It's shaped like a pool. It has these two statues and it overlooks the property, and I just love it. It always has this nice ironwork around the steps and stuff. It's just, I don't know. Every time I'm there, I go up there and sketch from that. Then I was getting tired, but the sun was coming out, and so I just sat down and sketched some of the statues and some of the plants that were around, and then the house, the mansion was in the background. So I do need more. Okay, that was day 9. Then that afternoon, let me push this aside for a second. That afternoon I pulled up a session. No, I didn't pull it up. I did it live. I forgot about that. Emma Carlisle was having a really cool session that was going to be on basically like description. So we didn't have pictures to look at. She described a scene and we had to paint it. And it was very interesting. So it was like this red boat house or something, boat dock and mountain behind it, and it was timed. So this was the first one I did. Then I think while this one was drying, I did this one. Now this was what was kind of interesting about this whole thing, because we couldn't see the picture and because like I didn't really know what a boat dock, I think this was a boat, supposed to be a boat dock, no, boat harbor, which I don't know what a boat harbor was. So I just kind of painted it like this big ocean. But then as she got more into this description, it was like ladders and men climbing up the wall, and there was a cat there, and so I didn't add any of that. But I did this one, which was really fun, and I did like it. And then we did a lighthouse. I have like a phobia about lighthouses. I'm not a real big lighthouse fan, so I decided to just like add some text and write lighthouse. I did not spend much time on this at all, not nearly the time that was allotted and allowed. But I did really like this area right here. I liked the yellow clouds and the birds, and I used that in another sketch. So then later that night, I decided to take these 2 sketches. Let me take that off so I don't get confused. And I had these set off to the side and decided to join those 2 and do this. And I did the boats last. I actually did the boats the next day. I wish I'd taken more time, but I could tell I was ready to move on to something else. I think I was actually going out someplace to sketch that day. So I just plopped the boats in, I think using oil pastels. Yeah, oil pastels. But I do like the scene. I liked how all of this little bits came out. I always hate it though when I pitter out too early and don't like finish something. But that was the first day. A lot done in that very first day that Grady was gone. Then, let me see. Let me move this sketchbook out of the way because I've shown you everything in it. I want to try to stay, you know, not getting confused. Oh yeah. Then the next day I went to the zoo. I really had a feeling that day that I just wanted to find one spot and sit down. Usually I walk around to all the different stations, but this day I wanted to head out to this one area I had not been to, which was a big waste of time. There was like one animal out there. So I spent way too much time walking around, so then I just wanted to sit. And I always stop at the meerkats. I don't know if it's because I like the meerkats. I think I mainly like the things in the pen. And then there's also a couple good spots to sit down and take out my pencil roll. So I do like it because of that. These little guys are hard. They have what looks like very simple bodies, but they move a lot. That's one of the things that's hard about the zoo. It's very, very hard to sketch moving things. So what I do, there's two things that I should choose to do, but there's usually only one thing I do. So I'll start sketching this guy and then he moves. And then I'll wait for one of the others to kind of basically get into the position. Maybe the tail's not going the right way or something, but then I'll wait till he gets back in a position, start sketching again, then they usually move again. There's a lot of waiting. And you would think, well, then you could just sketch this stuff while you're waiting, but you gotta like keep your eye on them, you know, to wait. So this is literally the only sketch I did that day at the zoo. Wait, I think, yes. And I really enjoyed putting the people in. I really like a lot about it. But when I am there, it's usually all this other stuff that I'm interested in. The trees, the plants. And I'm just kind of learning how to do these critters. But I did enjoy the colors that I got in the trees and things like that. So then that night, I was thinking about how difficult the meerkats were because I couldn't just observe them because they were, you know, zipping all around. So I pulled up some pictures on the internet of meerkats and thought I just want to be able to observe and draw them and try to get their little cute bodies. And these are very quick timed sketches. And I'm happy with those. These two I feel like capture the meerkats a little better. Then I decided to take a little more time, which I think was a bad idea. I mean, this guy is like, oh my gosh, I don't know what happened to his face. They do have these little smiles, but trying to get those and not look scary is not easy. Then when I was pulling up pictures, I came across this cat, so I gave up on the meerkats and just drew a cat and then called it for the night because I was getting tired. It was pretty late at this point. Okay, so that was day 9 and 10, the 9th and the 10th. Then, what do we have for the 11th? It looks like only one. I think this was a Saturday and I think I was pretty tired. So, oh yeah, I forgot about this. So what I did, I really liked this sketch and wanted to take it further. So what I did is what I always do. I'll have this off to the side and use it as reference. I'm not trying to copy it. I'm just using it as inspiration. And I did this. I really like this. I like a lot of the color. I used everything. I used soft pastel. I used gouache. I used color pencil, oil pastel. Basically anything that I could grab, I used. And just moved them around. Then I think, oh yes, then the next day I took, wait, that was day 11. Okay, let's do day 12 now, or the 12th. I keep calling it day 12, but it's the 12th. I don't know why I keep saying that. Okay, then I wanted to do another one and wanted to play with kind of the overall color. I didn't love this kind of pinky purple, even though that's what the area actually looked like. So I thought I would just play with the color a little bit. And I meant to take this further, but it was taking quite a while. I think I started this maybe at night. I feel like I did this one maybe on the 12th and the 13th. I just can't remember because I didn't do a date. And because, can you see this area right here? So in the enclosure, they had this tunnel where you could come up and pop your head up in this like glass bubble. I don't really know why. I think it's to maybe feel like a meerkat. And I didn't do any drawings of that, but I remembered it. So I was going to put it in and put like a head popping up there, but I got bored. Like, this guy was last. You can tell I just put 0 time into him. I just sometimes will get bored and over things. I'd already worked on the things that most interest me, which was this background and the trees. And then like I threw these guys in and was like, okay, I enjoyed these. So that's just the remnant. But I think when I'm there next, I want to take a little bit more time and draw this because people are always in that. Always. Okay. Day 12. Then what else did I do on day 12? Oh, yes. So this was Sunday, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Oh, day 12 starts right here. I did this at night, sitting on the couch. I still had a little bit of itch to sketch. I knew the next day I was going to be going to the coffee shop with my friend Jeanne, and I thought I want to kind of warm up with some sketches. So I pulled up this Charlotte Salomon, I don't really know how to say her last name, book, because there's a lot of figures in here, and I liked how she played with color with some of her figures. I liked how she used darker colors than maybe I usually would. So I was really inspired by that and thought I wanted to just do some quick sketches. So I did some timed sketches and I used color pencil, some marker, and then some Liquitex paint marker that I've gotten that I'm loving. And did that one, and then I did this one. which I was really happy with. Again, I'm trying to play with color and not trying to just think of like flesh color, flesh tone. And I love how these turned out. And then you're going to see how the next day these really influenced me. So then we went to the coffee shop on the 13th. And I loved my sketches from this day. I absolutely love this sketch. And you can see the influence of Charlotte with the red and the yellow. The way I do my coffee shop sketches is I basically pull everything in the room of interest to me and put it on one page. So like this was actually a sign that was behind me. My friend Jeanne, she noticed it. Well, I saw her sketching it because she was facing it. So then I was looking over my shoulder. I wanted to put that in. This was actually a sign that was like overhead. These plants were way on the other side, but they were interesting me. So I just kind of build the scene. I started with this lady and with this like coffee bar, and then just started building. And I love how it turned out. I used my markers, my new watercolor markers, which I'm loving. Did I already say that? Loving. Color pencils. I took a couple of my new paint markers, Liquitex paint markers. And then I did this one. I was getting tired by this point. Usually when I start getting tired, there's less detail. I noticed this painting of a landscape across the room and thought I want to get that in. So I started with that. And then what I'll do is just start building. And I really like how this lady turned out, just kind of soft. I like this lamp. And then I was just putting things in that I was just starting to kind of notice, like these big red bins. And at this point we were chatting away quite a bit and I wasn't putting as much detail. Then I came home, had lunch, took a nap, and it was a gorgeous day. So I went to a park that I go to all the time and sketched. This was the first time that I've gone to this park that I've actually felt scared. I kind of wanted to tell you this just because I think sometimes this all looks glamorous, but you do have to keep your kind of attention at times, because a lot of these places I go to, because they're in like Nashville, like downtown Nashville, there's a lot of homeless people and I'm there by myself usually, and sometimes it just doesn't feel safe. This time I was there by myself with all these. There were like 3 or 4 cars behind me with men, homeless men in it. And there was this one guy that kept getting out of his car naked. And I don't know. It was feeling very uneasy. And I really love how the sketch turned out. But I just started thinking to myself, man, I need to pack up and go home. So I packed up, or started packing up, and then 2 families came. And I thought, okay, I'm going to just stay for a little bit, and was able to finish this. But there were a lot of big white birds. And I loved how like their legs hung down. I love this sketch. I absolutely loved it, and it was a really, really fun time. All right, then I came home, I bet, and I can't remember. Oh yes, my usual thing, using this as inspiration, not trying to copy it. In this, I used my watercolor markers, color pencils, and that's it. So what I'll do, what's nice is to try to not copy it slavishly, is to use a different medium. So that's what I'll do a lot of times. So I did this one just in gouache. Something I have not mentioned are the sketchbooks I'm using. This one right here, what is this? This is the handbook journal. I mainly am using my Royal Talons art creation sketchbooks, and then this one is the Ranger. I'll have them all linked below. Okay, so back to this. I used only gouache on this, and you can see how much I like moved things around. I'm just using this as inspiration, and I've been here so many times now. It's kind of interesting how I paint it similar but different every time. So I loved how this turned out. And then that was it for that day. So then on the 14th, oh yes, this was another zoo day. This was fun. Okay, on the 14th, was itching to get back to the zoo. And I just took color pencils and my markers. I took a fanny pack, put a bunch of markers in there, and then I think I was holding color pencils. I can't remember exactly. But in my Substack post, all of these, like my outings, I posted on all of those, and I give a lot more pictures and info, so you can go look there. But there was this tiger, and he was sitting on this big pile of like straw, And I could tell I wasn't going to have much time to sketch him. I could tell he was like going to sprawl out and move. So I started sketching him. Then he turned his head this way and I started to sketch him, and then he laid down. And that happens when you're dealing with animals that are moving, which is, they're just so hard to sketch. Then sometimes this is what you get. And I feel like it really adds to the page. I love this spread. I love this page. And I love just the composition of it. So then he got in a weird position and I just decided to move on and walked kind of quickly through a couple other places. I think these were lemurs, spider monkey, there was a swan. And I think at that point I thought I was going to leave because I was feeling tired. And I went around to this area to look at the, what are those blue birds? Macaws. And I passed this area where I'd never seen these ducks before. And there was not a place to like rest my sketchbook on. Sometimes there'll be like a handrail, and that's kind of nice to rest it on instead of just holding it. But I pulled out just my blue marker. And I do love making sketches like this where I just make color notes, because then it's fun to come back and paint from that. And I haven't done that yet, but I may do that today because I think that would be fun to do. Then I went over and camped out at the, what did I say these were called? Oh, macaws. I love these birds. I love the enclosure. It's really unique with like vegetation and stuff. That is one of the nice things about the zoo that I've not mentioned before. It's basically like going to a zoo and a garden because there's so much interesting foliage and plants and stuff. And I've been scoping out places that would be nice to just sit, especially if there's some people around. I've been going when it's been pretty dead, and sketch like the people and then also the foliage and stuff. But I had not noticed this one area before where I could sit down. So I camped out here, did these sketches, and absolutely loved them. I did 2. And I've started some paintings from these on board and canvas. And if I remember, I'll get some footage and show you. They're not finished. They're just like literally kind of in the works, but I loved this. And then I wanted to get one where there was more of the background and foliage because I had a feeling I wanted to do a painting from this. So I took some time to capture things very abstract and loose. And again, I just had a couple paint markers, my color pencils, and right, what did I say? Watercolor markers, color pencils, and I think a couple of, I had like a Liquitex marker. Okay, that was day 14. Oh, wait. I forgot. I did take, when I got home that night, I took this sketch and did this sketch using gouache. I really love that process of using a different medium because the way you put it down and the way that you do things are just so different, and so you get a different look. But you can see how this was inspired and how I'm not slavishly copying, and I'm able to take my time. And I did do this one quick. It was right before dinner. Okay, so I'm done with that one, and now let's do day 15 and 16. What did I do for day 15? Oh yeah, this was a fun day. Oh, this was so fun. So my friend Jeanne, who I go to coffee shops with, did I show you these? Yes. She runs and owns Studio 5, it's called Warehouse 521. It is a workshop, an art workshop here in Nashville. It's amazing. She has the best of the best around the world that comes there. And almost every week she does an open studio where she hires 1 to 2 models. And she doesn't just have like the model sitting or standing. She sets up a whole like scene, and it's so cool. She spends a ton of time, and it's just a really nice thing because if you're not as interested in like the figure, like she had this big table that was basically a still life. And because it was the 15th, she set it up like a Valentine's thing. She hired 2 models, but the woman had to cancel that day because she woke up sick. But it was really neat the way she set up the scene because it kind of looked like the man was waiting for his wife or date to come. So it kind of had a nice narrative about it. Most people will bring a canvas and paint a full painting, spend the whole, it's like from 9:30 to like 1 or 1:30. But I just don't, I'm sure you're like, We know that you don't do that, Sandy. So I set my own timer and just warmed up. So I started with my watercolor marker and did a 1-minute sketch. Then I did a 3-minute. And I think what's nice about the quick sketches and warming up this way, it starts to quickly let you know what you find interesting, because you're plopping in what your eyeballs are zooming to and locking in on. There was this really wonderful painting that Jeannie had way off to the side of this woman, and I kind of went verp and put her in the rest of the sketches because I just love the painting and I felt like it kind of told a narrative. It's like, where's the woman and is that her? Then I did a longer one. I did not set a timer for this, so I don't know how long. And I used all the things. I took all the things. I love when I don't have to pack light. And man, you name it and I took it. So I used everything. Gouache, my markers, my paint markers, color pencil, oil pastel, all of it. I also put the exit sign. I'm always attracted to exit signs. I don't know why. I'm sure just the color and the lettering, because I do like lettering. But I felt like it kind of told a story. Did she leave? And then like this background, it was just she had a sheet up or some fabric, and I think it was kind of maybe a light gray or blue, but I just built the scene myself. And she also had this Valentine's heart, like the candy. That was really fun, and some flowers and wine. So I took time to do that one. Then I was getting tired, so I decided to just pull out a pencil. I've really been loving this Luminance pencil. That is the Middle Cobalt Blue 660. I just really like the blue and decided to just sketch this. I love this composition. I really liked that painting kind of being just partially, it's like she's just peeking in. They look both kind of a little sad, like maybe there was a breakup. But I took just a few minutes to sketch that. And then did I do some more? Oh yes. Okay, this is my favorite of probably all of the ones that I've showed you. I don't know, I do like the macaws, but I love this spread. So I was kind of feeling tired at the time. I thought I was gonna pack up and leave. But this is the painting that I kept putting on the wall. And I thought I wanna just take some color notes and sketch that a little more. So I did that, and then I was noticing another painting that I always love that she has on our wall, and thought, well, I'm going to sketch that too. And I love how these two look together on the page. And I feel like just all these sketches tell about the day and remind me of the day. I love even the way the writing is here. I love using writing, whether it's the date or something else. I think I've got a little illustrator in me because I do love that kind of thing. Let's see. Then, on the 16th, I did not do much on the 16th because let me zoom y'all out. Because I had been painting like a maniac and sketching like crazy, the house was in complete disorder. So I decided to spend most of the day doing dishes and getting the house ready and just things ready for Grady. But I kept thinking back to these sketches and wanted to do a whole different scene. So I had the idea of doing that table with some of the elements, but bringing the flowers from this sketch here and putting the guy up here and the woman there in the painting. I added some chairs. Felt like I didn't really like that, so I smushed those out. I was actually going to come back and do more to this and press these flowers and push everything. But it's at this point, it was just right after this. I had taken a break or was walking back from the bathroom or something when Cooper had his episode, which I'll turn the camera around now and share with you about that night. And so I just decided to leave this sketch as it was and just put the date on there. And I do love it. I think it's really, really great. And I think this is a theme that I'll probably play around with a little bit more. But yeah, that's it. So a lot that was done, and it was a great week until it wasn't. And I thought you guys would enjoy seeing the work and hearing a little more about it. Again, if you want to see maybe more pictures of the places that I went and things like that, make sure to go over to my Substack, and I'll put a link to that below. Okay, let me turn the camera around and tell you a little more about that day and what's been going on since. I've been dreading this day. I knew it was coming, and I knew I would share it with you guys because Cooper has been such a, part of y'all's life too here on YouTube. I'm gonna go grab a Kleenex real quick. I forgot to do that because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to share this without crying. I have cried so much that I feel like surely there's not any left, but there could be, so hold on. Okay, Kleenex in hand. Okay, where was I? Yeah, so I knew that this day was coming because Cooper's not been doing good. It's interesting because he really had like a great uptick with his health. I have no idea, is that a real phrase, uptick? But basically his health got a lot better to the point where I was kind of like, maybe we can board him and go on a trip, because I haven't been able to travel for like 5 years now because I haven't wanted to board him. Well, COVID, and then I didn't want to board him because he was having such a hard time like getting up. Big dogs have that when they get older because they lose the stickiness of their paws. So his legs weren't doing good, and he's been on like the strongest, highest dose of pain meds he could be on. And but he's been doing really good. In fact, we've been doing walks twice a day, and to the point almost where it was like, I think we're gonna have like he's gonna be around for several more years. And actually started looking at boarders again to see where we could board him. And then Thursday night, around 8 o'clock, I was walking through the den, and he did this weird, like, I couldn't tell if he was trying to get up. Every now and then in this one bed, or really not just this one bed, but it's like his leg would get stuck and he couldn't get up, or he would get his back legs stuck in bad places. And it was kind of like that, so I ran over, but he like flailed. I think he may have had like a stroke or a seizure. The vet thinks he had like a back injury, but the way he did this weird flailing and stiffened up, I don't even know if I want to go into all of it, but basically after the incident, which was really scary, and it scared him, his legs did not work. At first I thought it was just the back legs when I tried to like help him get up, because his front legs, but none of them were working. And Grady was literally en route in the plane flying home, and I texted him just so when he got here or landed he would know in case he didn't hear from me. I said something has happened to Coop and his legs are not working. I may be taking him to the emergency vet. I don't know. And I said I called Bonnie, my friend down the road, and she's like the closest thing I have as a friend to like a vet, because she has all these animals. She's helped me multiple times with Cooper. Like there's been twice that I've called her in the middle of the night. She's a night owl, so she's always up. And like both of the other times it was when Cooper was like uncontrollably diarrhea and vomiting, and she would come over and sit with me in the driveway and bring me medicine. And anyway, she came over. She's just the best. And she's really strong because she like rustles her sheep and does all this, and she's just this little thing, but she's got a lot of strength. So she came over and we kind of tried to evaluate Cooper and tried to take him out because I knew he needed to go to the bathroom. It had been hours and hours. And she was like, this is not good. And I just processed with her. I knew the night was coming. I hate when these things happen at night. The worst things always happen at night, and I just don't understand that. Am I filming? Yes. Did I push record? I don't want to tell this twice. So I just felt like I needed to process all the questions with her. Like, what about this? What should I do? And we both realized like he's not recovering from this. And I knew I would call my vet the next morning, but it just, everything in me was like, I don't think he's going to be getting up in the morning. I think we're going to be calling somebody to come put him down. And I was always hoping it wouldn't be something where I'd have to make the decision, like if his health just kind of declined and my heart was hurting watching him suffer. And I was so thankful, like I knew that I knew that I knew. No question. So Grady got home like an hour and a half later, and Grady and Bonnie tried to get him up again, and it was good because Grady was able to see like how bad Cooper was, and he was like, this is bad. I said, I know. So I stayed up all night with him, laid with him, and he was so calm. The only times he got really stressed was when we would try to take him to the bathroom. We had like this gurney system with these towels, and I just felt like he needed to relieve himself, and I didn't want him to feel stressed or uncomfortable. But the vet told me the next day he probably wasn't even feeling any of that. So I stayed up all night with him, and he was so restful. The only times that he was like a little like, I literally rubbed him on him all night long, had my hand on him, and anytime, like, because my arm sometimes was going to sleep, I'd pull it back and he would jump up, and he just was so comforted if I was just with him. And I would call Grady in the middle of the night if I needed to go to the bathroom, and Grady would come and sit with him. He just wanted us with him. And the next morning when I called the vet, she was like, it was probably a back injury. And anyway, she was like, feed him all the things. We called this company that will come to your house, and thankfully they had one spot left, because I thought, I can't do this. I can't wait another day and have him be like this. But I did not want to take him into the vet. I feel like I'm giving away more information than I planned to, but I just knew that was going to be stressful for him, and I didn't necessarily want the memories, to be honest, in the house, but I just wanted the best for him. So they couldn't come till like 3:30 that day. So it was a long time. It felt like a long time. But Grady the next day was like, that was literally the best day of Coop's life, because he got me 24/7. I laid on the floor with him, or had him, or was sitting up, and he had his head in my lap. That is like his, there's nothing better in life to him than him resting his head in my lap. Nothing. So, that's what he got. And the only time I would leave him was to go use the bathroom or to go get him some yumminess. It was so much fun just feeding him really, tasty things. And it was fun to be like, okay, what do we have in the fridge or freezer? And we gave him steak and chicken, and the vet was like, give him all the things, even chocolate, anything he hasn't had that you would think. So I knew like each day after I'd be thinking like, oh, we should have given him this. But all day I kept thinking, okay, Grady, what else could we give him? What else could we give him? And he loves cheese, so we gave him just tons of cheese. And then at some point I was like, Grady, I know what I want to give him. Cat food. Like his whole life he has tried to get to the cat food. If there's any that have fallen on the floor, he's just like, so I gave him a ton of cat food and cat treats. That was his favorite. Hot dogs. It was weird. I gave him a hot dog early in the day, and he loved it. And then another hot dog later in the day, and he did this. When he doesn't want to eat something or doesn't like something, he goes like this, puts his, which I thought was kind of weird, but I gave him cat food instead, and he loved it. It was so funny. He was just like, and the cat treats too. You could tell he was like, man, the cat's been living a great life eating these yummy things. Because he's been on a really restricted diet because he's got really bad stomach and health issues. So it was just really fun to give him all those tasty, tasty things. I'm trying to remember what else we gave him. I was constantly like going to the fridge and the freezer and being like, what could we give him? We gave him some prime steak and some smoked chicken and all that. So it was so hard putting him down. I kind of thought I would actually feel some relief afterwards, because it's just been hard like watching him, and but it wasn't. It was harder than what I thought it would be the days after. Like nonstop crying. And then that happened on a Friday when we put him down. The incident happened on a Thursday night, and then Friday we put him down. It was nice to just have Saturday to not go anywhere and just grieve. We tried to just be out of the house. It was so hard being in the house because his presence, he's a big dog and he's loud. and he follows me everywhere. So it was just hard to, I don't know, just such a void in the house. It was funny. We went out scoping different places for me to be able to paint. I was just like, I don't care where we go. Let's just get out of the house. And there was this one place we went to and it had this new, really large dog park. And we just stood there watching the dogs. I didn't even cry. It was just fun to just watch the dogs. Speaking of that, if you're wondering if we're going to get another dog, no, we are not. I have got allergies to dogs and cats now. And we also just are looking forward to some freedom to be able to travel. It's always so stressful for me when we travel and have to board our animals, and it's expensive, and all of our dogs we've ever had have been very sick, very costly, very sick. So for once in my life, I'm actually looking forward to not having an animal. I mean, we still have our 2 cats, but they're easy when we travel. They're just easy in life anyways. So we're gonna do some traveling, and what was I going to say? So Saturday, we just tried to be out of the house. Sunday was hard when we went to church. So many friends asking me, you know, how I'm doing. And I just, all morning, just bawled. I got some sweet letters and cards from kids from church that were just precious. And yesterday was the first day that it wasn't as difficult to be in the house. I mean, we've just been so sad and so tired. We have slept so much. I mean, we've just been exhausted. I feel like I was going to make this really short, and I'm just jabbing and jabbing. Yeah. So, Sunday, Grady buried him on Friday. And then Sunday, I spent time painting a headstone for him, and I went in our yard and picked every dandelion I could find because he loved to eat dandelions. You would think we were giving him cat treats with dandelions. He loved them. So I picked, I don't know how many, a huge basket full, scattered them all over his grave site, and then I picked buttercups because those are my favorite flowers and put those on there. And I picked a big wad of grass because he also loved to eat grass. He was like a cow. It was like a grass eating addict. I mean, it was interesting. And not the kind, early in his life when he started doing that, we were asking the vet about it. And she said there's 2 kinds of grass eaters for dogs. Either their stomach's upset or they just really like it and their body is just fine with processing it. And that was Cooper. He loved it. I do wish I had, one of the things that I thought of that I was like, oh man, why didn't I feed him this? I was thinking cat poop. He would have loved to have had some cat poop. I was like, we could have just scooped out the litter box. He would have loved to eat the litter and the cat poop. That was the only thing that I wish I had fed him because he would have loved it. Little cat treats. So that is that. So no more little feet patters in videos. I wondered if I'd have any oomph to be able to go back to old videos and pull footage, and I just don't. I am going to go back and share with y'all at the very end just some pictures. I feel like that's about all I have the oomph to do, is to look at pictures really quick. I'm not at a place where I feel like I can really look, and just have a little memorial tribute to him at the end of this video. That's that. Okay, I did pretty good getting through that. I know you guys, so many of you guys have lost pets yourself, and you get it. You get the absence and the pain. And so many of you loved Cooper too. And he's been a part of this channel since the beginning. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up because I just need to. I wanted to deliver that news to you guys and let you know. And though this has been sad news, I do hope you have enjoyed the staycation, the good part of it. And I will, I'll see you guys back here in 2 weeks. Thank you guys for your love. It will probably be a while before I'm going to be able to read your comments. Just know that. I think it will be too hard right now. But at some point, when I feel up for it, I will read them. Okay? I know that y'all will have grace on me for that and be okay with that. So I love you guys. Thank you for your kindness and the way that you have loved our family. Not just me, but Cooper and our animals and Grady. I know that y'all have a special tie with our family, and that means a lot. So thank you. All right. Love you guys. Bye. Guess whose birthday it is today? Is it your birthday? Oh, is that tail going? Yeah, whose birthday is it, huh? See, I'm the birthday boy. Huh? It's that big 12 years old. I'm gonna have treats today and sleep a lot. Mom's gonna take me for a nice long walk for my birthday. Yep. Happy birthday, boy. Okay, look what I just found. Sometimes he likes to grab things and just sit there. Goofy. Do you want your hat back on? Are you being silly? Are you being silly? You gonna eat your birthday hat? Oh no. You just want it. Oh, he likes to just hold things until we notice and laugh. Like he'll get my handkerchief or I don't know, just different things. Are you so sweet? Oh. Okay. No. Drop. Drop. Okay. Oh, bud. Did that get your mouth? Oh, boy. All right. Happy boy. Happy birthday, boy. Yeah, love him.